I told our guys the holiday break started with about 3 minutes left on the clock in the game. We just quit playing with the urgency we needed to close that out. But you know, one of the things I've learned over the course of long seasons are you're never going to be perfect. You learn from every opportunity, and then you figure it out how to be better the next one. We're going to have to be better the next one. Evansville's a very good team, really good seniors leading the way, and a great coach. So we'll take a couple days off, go our own separate ways, and then come back Wednesday and try to get ready for Vandy.
Coach, this first half of this season, with the schedule you guys played, what did you learn about this team playing the Carolinas and all those types of teams?
You know, the hardest part, Tom, isn't necessarily those. It's Evansville. You know, it's Ball State. It's teams that are long-standing, you know, teams that you played against and rivals that you played against in the state. You know, you got to be up on your A game for every game. And when you play a schedule like we played, you know, people don't always look at it that way. And so I'm proud with how we've managed the first 11 games. There's no doubt. I mean, to be 9-2 after this first 11 is good. Now, I do think that when we get into the A10 stretch, especially our early stretch in league, it's going to be just as challenging, if not more so.
Coach, Evansville really forced you guys to execute in the half court. Can you kind of assess your team's ability to do that today? And
they did a really good job. They started the first 4 minutes, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but I thought they were switching up 1 through 4 every screen. And then the next 4, I don't think they did, and I think they kind of mixed it up occasionally, hit and miss throughout the game. So keep you off balance. What you're trying to run, what you're trying to do. We didn't do a good enough job getting the ball inside for the first 30 minutes of the game, and then once we did, we kind of separated ourselves a little bit. They put you in tough spots. One of the things that's a little bit unheralded about Evansville, or people don't talk about it as much, is they turn you over, and they're in the top 50 in the country, I think, on KenPom, turning people over. So, you know, obviously we added to that, added to their resume in that regard.
What do they do to turn you over?
Well, the pressure on the ball is one thing, but they play on top of it on the wings. And then if they switch screens out, you've got to be really good at slipping. You've got to be really strong when you get the ball because they're very active with their hands. You know, they're a well-drilled, tough group of kids. And you know, I thought these two guys kind of carried us and kept us afloat most of the game.
Rotnei, they were kind of trapping out of quite a few ball screens, and you two in particular were kind of working off each other, getting out of those traps. Can you talk about that a little bit and how you were forced to execute in that way?
Yeah, we were wanting to, like Coach said, they were switching 1 through 4. So we were there in the second half a little bit. We were trying to have Andrew come up and set it because they were just hedging that when they weren't switching it. So, and a couple of times it came off and left Andrew open for a shot, and he did a good job of finding ways to get open as well. So.
Right, I know there's more to a stat sheet than points, but to have 2 of your seniors each have 20 in a game where maybe some inexperienced players, you know, might have a natural letdown. I mean, can you speak to those two guys' performance?
Yeah, I didn't think our young guys really had a letdown, though. I thought they played, you know, freshmen and sophomores played pretty well today for the most part. I thought Kellen was excellent. Kellen missed a couple open ones that he won't miss very often. And Cameron Woods was outstanding today. That's his best game in a few weeks. And so, but these two guys are 2 of our leaders. And when things aren't going well, somebody's got to right the ship. And, you know, it can't be anybody but the guys on the court. And they've done a good job of that thus far. And I think they're both playing at a really high level.
Is Kellen expanding his game? It seems like he's driving more.
Yeah, I think he's got to drive more, Tom. I don't know if it's expanding his game as much as it's what he caught himself shooting it a bit too much early from deep without exploring the drive. Because, you know, he's not going to get a step on guys all the time, but if he gets just an inch, he can raise up with a little fade and shoot a pretty good shot. So, and then he's got all the head fakes and all that stuff around the basket. Does a good job getting to the line. So we need him to drive it more. I think people are just going to continue to extend on him. He's got to put the ball on the floor.
Brad, you mentioned the Ball States and the Evansvilles of the world. I'm curious if the 3 of you can talk a little bit about what it means to be 5-0 against this state.
Better than last year. That's the way I feel about it. You know, I don't think it's, you know, it's. I didn't even think about it really, Mike, until you mentioned it. But it's, Yeah, I mean, it's important to me. It's important to these guys to play well against the teams that are in your state. You're not always going to win. I mean, I said this earlier. We could play well against Evansville and lose, but we were fortunate enough to play well enough today to win.
Andrew, you've had 3 consecutive Saturdays of really big outputs. Are you? Someone suggested to me that with a lot of changes in the team, that sometimes it takes the bigs a little bit longer to adjust. Was this the composition of the lineup and the way you're playing? Did it take you like a little bit of time to adjust? Because you certainly adjusted now.
Oh, I think we all were adjusting. Last year was a lot different because we didn't really have shooters like Kellen and Rotnei to space up the floor. So our whole game this year is a little bit different. And I mean, I think we've seen everybody have to adjust their game a little bit. And I've just tried to come play with good energy. And our guards have been great, getting me the ball and getting it on the rim for us to rebound. And so we've been playing pretty well this far.
Brad,